everyone out there. My name is Phyllis Nash, and we are at Wake Up to Wakanna with our visionary this morning. I am the CSO and one of the co-founders, and it's a beautiful sunshiny day here in Chicago. So without further ado, I'm getting out of the way to bring up our CEO, our visionary, someone now I've known over 17 years. And yes, she made a true impact on my life the very first time I met her because she had fired her boss the day before. Yep, six-figure earner, you know, having the company car and the corner office. But guess what? That wasn't serving her and the people she cared about the most. So she went into MLM social selling full time, became MVP of three different companies, built teams over 46 countries, pivoted back in 2017 when a mentor or friend of hers asked her to be the CEO of his cannabis company. And guess what? I love her open mindedness because before making that decision, she was like, I'm not going to be in any cannabis, but she was open minded enough to know what she didn't know. And it's history making in the past and in the future. What are we going to do here at Wakanna? Now, soon to be Akana. Guys, just put your seatbelts on and get ready for the ride of your life. Are you out there, Melissa Boston, our CEO?
Hey, Phyllis, I am out here. Good morning, good morning, good morning to you, and good morning to everyone on the line. Oh, my goodness, it is Monday morning, and thank you so much for waking up this morning, with us here at Wakanna. Yes, soon to be Akana, Phyllis, and we are just so excited about everything that's happening, and we're going to go through some of that. What I want to do this morning as we kick it off, I want to go through, our vision, our mission for Akana. I'm going to also give you some exciting updates as it relates to what's coming at our conference so that everyone can stay in the loop because we're just so much to be excited about this morning. I mean, here we are almost hitting that 3-week mark until we're at the 420 conference celebrating together. And so first, let's talk about the meaning of Akana. It means in the hands of God. And we know that Wakanna was a gift from God, and so just moving into this next chapter is truly exciting. Our mission is we believe health, wealth, freedom, and legacy are our birthright. By offering the most life-changing products and an innovative business, we empower people to elevate to their full potential. Our vision is to elevate the well-being of your body and soul. And oh my goodness, as we look at all the things that are happening right now, we have our brand new website. Yes, a website that's going to take us into the future, guys, because we are moving it into a direction where we really wanted to take the feedback, take everything we received from each and every one of you over the last few years and utilize that as really a catalyst to take our website to that next level. And so, yes, we have hired the best of the best, a brilliant team that has helped companies crack that 100 million plus mark. And guess what, guys? That too delivered our state-of-the-art new website that you're going to have a chance to preview at our conference, guys. And so all I can tell you is there's so many game-changing tools that we're launching. This is truly our year of elevation. I mean, products, yes, even new products that are designed to take our health to the next level, blockbuster announcements surrounding travel and financial education. There is just so much to look forward to. Hopefully by now you've already been on the website for the conference, which is 420lifestyleconference.com. I'm going to repeat that again. It's 420lifestyleconference.com. Make sure you check back often because there's going to be new updates. As we receive those updates, you're going to get those right at the website. And when you go there, one of the biggest things that we want you to know is that if you purchase the VIP All Access, okay, those are still available, I believe, online at $249. Those tickets include both of our parties, okay, our 420 kickoff party. So prepare to be there to party with us as we celebrate our 4th year anniversary, as we celebrate the unveiling of our new Wakanna. You want to be there to be a part of history. Of course, the general admissions and the VIP access include, the classes that are happening on Friday And that's going to be spectacular. Again, go to the website. You can get the details on what you're going to learn. But I'm telling you what, Phyllis Nash, our diamond teams, they're creating just such an amazing platform for you guys to be at on Friday that's going to help elevate your business skills and take you to that next level. We have our corporate team that's going to kick it off in the morning on Friday, giving you some of the new deliverables. It's kind of like you get a little bit of sneak preview to some of the things that are going to happen on Saturday. So on Friday, yes, you get it all, but we do know that Saturday is our conference, guys. That's general session at our conference, and we want you all to be there in the house on Saturday as we witness history together, okay, with the launch of our new Wakanna. And so that's what we call our general access, is that Friday and that Saturday session. But the two parties, okay, to access both of those parties, make sure you did go get that VIP all access ticket, because then, of course, you're coming with us to the gala as we have a chance to celebrate, at the conclusion of this conference. We know that we're going to just be there on Saturday feeling so great, feeling ready to celebrate, and you're not going to want to miss that celebration that we're going to have on Saturday evening, guys. And also, too, want to remind everyone that if you did purchase your hotel through Wakanna, which means you've Zelled that payment in, perhaps you might have sent a check in, remember that that particular payment, it also covers not just the hotel, okay, but it also covers your bus transfers, okay? Now, if you purchase the hotel any other way, that's fine, but you're just going to have your own transportation that you'll handle, okay? But if you purchased it through our group block, then you're going to actually have, there's 2 luxury motor coach buses that we're going to actually transport all of you back and forth to the actual conference. And what's exciting is, unlike most conferences where you get there, there's just so much walking, right? It's just exhausting, right? Trying to get from class to class, right? It's almost like going back to college, okay? Our bus is taking you right to the front door of this event. You're going to be able to walk in and be right there where you need to be, guys. And so we're trying to make it as easy and as convenient for everyone. There is a balance due on that hotel. We talked about that last week. We're going to keep reminding everyone the week before conference, you're going to get your notification so that you can go ahead and Zelle that balance, okay? You're going to Zelle your balance to the same number you placed your deposit, guys. And so those are just some quick updates that everyone needs to know. And what I'm going to do real quick, I'm going to share a story this morning about my weekend, okay? And my weekend this past weekend, for me, it was bittersweet, okay? We celebrated 95 years from my grandfather. I mean, birthday party. That was just so amazing. 95 years young, right? I mean, sometimes people look at that as, wow, but in our world, we say that's young, because what does Dr. Prince tell us? Hey, guess what, guys? We have the tools to get to 120. But also that weekend, we actually celebrated the homegoing, okay, the life of a cousin of mine, and an aunt, who actually passed at 59 years old, right? 59 years young, she passed a couple of weeks ago. In fact, she passed the day before her birthday. She was turning 60, passed the day before her birthday. I mean, this is a woman who was the choir director at the church, community chorus. I mean, she sang like an angel, a voice from God, literally. And so it was just one of those things where you look back at COVID and you look at really the damage that COVID has done to so many families, to so many communities. And they believed she was suffering from long COVID, okay? And for many people, COVID just comes and goes. It's like not even a cold. But for some people, there's just such ugly, nasty, long-term consequences, okay? And they believe that it was the COVID that actually caused her to go on dialysis, because she was a diabetic, but then diabetes just seemed to leave her body. The doctor's like, we don't know what happened. It must be spontaneous remission, but diabetes was gone. But after she got COVID, all of a sudden, her body started shutting down, her kidneys, and they put her on dialysis. And so she ended up dying from kidney failure. And when I think about, the fact that here it is, my grandfather at 95 years young, okay? We're celebrating him, and on the same day, we're burying my cousin who's 59. This is his niece, okay? His sister's daughter, right? And so you think about, where we're at right now and what we have an opportunity to do with the knowledge we have, okay? And so I want to first just give you a little bit of reflection of my grandfather, because, I mean, this is someone I used to always, you guys hear me talk about my grandmother a lot, right? My grandfather is kind of like that silent rock, okay? He doesn't speak often, okay? But he's kind of like E.F. Hutton. When he speaks, everybody listens, guys. And I had a chance to get in front of the audience, to tell them what my grandfather, really meant to me. Okay. And what I think I can appreciate some of the most is when I think about my grandmother and I think about my family. He was the support system. He was really that foundation for everyone. And he was the person with the work ethic. He worked so hard, okay? So hard for all of us. And I really know that's where I get a lot of my work ethic from. It's just how I watched him with so much grace, work so hard for the family, work so hard for my grandmother, right? So she didn't have to have a job. And it wasn't often what he said, but it's what he showed. See, a lot of times we see people and they give you a lot of lip service, right? There's a lot of things they say, right? But then you see them do the opposite. And so we watched him really with awe because he led our family with so much dignity. He led our family with so much grace. He led with so much work ethic. He really showed us, okay, what a man should be. And it was really hard for all of us to end up getting married, even for myself. My mom would call me the runaway bride because in my grandfather, I saw someone that I knew that that's the type of character I wanted in the man that I would one day meet, okay? And it was one of those moments, right, where you witness, okay, yeah, this is a man that works hard, he provides hard. But when you think about some of the guys that we can go back, you might think about your father this way, your grandfather this way, right? You think they don't make them like that anymore, right? They don't make, and that's kind of how we always, joked in our family. We're like, you know what? They just don't make them like grandpa anymore, okay? Because this is a man who never argued with his wife, right? My grandmother never raised his voice, and she would tell us that. When anytime we were in a relationship or situation with conflict, she would say, Melvin, he never argues and never raises his voice. And we would always think about that, like, oh my goodness, how do I find a man like that, okay, who doesn't argue, who doesn't raise his voice? And the other thing that he always would do is when he would work so hard, he would always give my grandmother, the check. It was her check. He worked for her to give her the check so she can take care of all the bills, take care of all the family. I remember, he would be at work. We would go to the job, get the check. She would go cash the check, take care of him first, get his clothes. But guess what? Always use that to take care of the bills, did what she needed to do for the family. And this is what I witnessed, okay? I witnessed this growing up, okay? And I remember just some poignant moments where my grandfather impacted me the most. And one of them was because as a child, I looked up to my grandparents. They were my heroes. So I always wanted to please them, okay? Was always the straight A student, all-star cheerleader. I felt like I wanted to do things right for them. In return, they bought me my first car, just a lot of things they did for me. But the bottom line, I really lived to please them, okay? And worked hard, okay, as a young child. But I remember when I actually went off to college and I got pregnant in college. And one of the first people that came to my mind was like, oh my God, what would my grandfather think at this moment? What's my grandfather going to think? And I remember when I went back home and I was, had to share this with my family, my grandfather was the first person to stand up to be in my corner. He said, you know what? I'm going to buy him his first pair of pants, okay? And that just endeared me in that moment because what I realized is not only is he there as our support, but he was there for me even at the time when I didn't know for sure how it was going to go with my family. And then I remember a month later, got very, very sick in college. And guess who drove 4 hours to pick me up, take me back to the doctor to figure out what was going on? It was my grandparents, my grandma and grandpa, okay? And then I remember when grandmother passed and we were just devastated. My grandfather, he looked at me. He said, I asked God for 100 years. He says, that's what I wanted for me and Margaret to be here together for 100 years. And I remember when he said that, and I looked in his eyes and I just realized, wow, this is a man who for 73 years, right? He was married to my grandmother, right? For 73 years. And he prayed, his prayer was for them to have 100 years, guys, 100 years. And do you know that to this day, he visits her grave every single day? And I just think about the commitment, the fact that he still has such a sharp mind, okay? He still drives a car at 95 years young. He's driving a car, just passed his driver's ed test, guys, with flying colors, guys. And what really touched me this weekend was to see so many men. Men from all across our community, men that came as far as California, okay, whose lives that were impacted because he also showed them how to be a man, right? What it means to be a good man in this community, to take care of your kids, to be honorable, to take care of your wife, to do what you need to do for your family. And so many of them came not just to support, but they got up and spoke and talked about the impact, since they watched him as a young teenager, okay, go off to war. My grandfather fought in World War II. And here's the thing that really, really, really something everyone needs to understand. These black men that went to World War II to fight on behalf of our country, okay, when the other guys came back, they were given something called the GI Bill, which means the soldiers were given a chance to be middle class. They didn't have to start at the bottom because they went to fight, and some of them died for our country. So they gave them college education. They gave them homes. They gave them grants, money. But guess what they denied? Most of the black soldiers were denied. Over 1 million plus black soldiers went to fight for this country, okay, in World War II, and were denied that same opportunity. And so he was one of the soldiers denied that opportunity. And so my family actually wrote to Biden on his behalf. And do you know that Biden actually sent a letter really honoring and acknowledging that? So we had a chance to read that at our family, and prayerfully this country gets it right, because many of you probably have loved ones who fought in World War II, and they are working to try to get this GI Bill, finally to right that wrong, right? To right that wrong, how so many black soldiers had to come back and start from scratch, dealing with PTSD, which probably wasn't even recognized as PTSD back then, dealing with poverty, dealing with racism. So many times when they were wearing their soldiers' outfits, people spit on them. Oftentimes they died because they wore that outfit coming back after representing this country. So when I think about, 95 years on this earth and all that he's witnessed, all that he's been through, but what really probably touched me the most is when they asked to see who was the second oldest person in the room. And the oldest person in that entire room was 85 years young, 85 years. And so you have to think about all the people, that didn't make it to 95, that didn't make it to 90. And so we're in a business, guys, where we actually have a chance to do something different, right? To take this knowledge, to take all this information to change our lives, to change generations, so we can celebrate 95 years together, right? Not to have one person, right, out of the whole family, make it to 95 years, guys. Because when you really think about, what's going on, and, it's not just what we eat, but it's also what's eating us. Because one of the common themes that you heard around the table as people were talking was they never saw my grandfather get angry, right? People would talk about his disposition in life, how he was just easy to get along with, right? Just a really good person. And you have to think about that. So when you don't get anger, right, you know what they say, anger manifests in the liver, it manifests in many areas of the body. And so you have to think about what kind of mindset do you want to create so that we can get to 95, we can get to 100, we can get to 120 years, guys. And so I'm telling you what, we are just blessed this morning to be able to wake up to a company that's different from any other type of company you've been with. We're not just selling health products, guys, but we're selling an opportunity for us to share this information so we can start right now taking proactive solutions and help our families, right? We can help our moms, right? We can help our sisters. We can help our brothers. We can help so many people in our lives. And one of the probably biggest heartbreaks for most of us is sometimes the very people that don't listen to you are your family and friends, right? The people who you really pray for the hardest oftentimes don't get it, guys. But here's the good news. The good news is what it is for us to do is to share, right? See, that's what we owe it. We owe it to we share, to let people understand that we have something special. Whether they take a look or not, guess what? That's not on you, okay? You've done your part. And so we've just got to be grateful that we have this flat belly lifestyle, okay? We have this cleanse. We have so many tools, and we're bringing more and more. When you see the caliber of people we're bringing to this conference, guys, these are health and wellness experts. These are people that have been in the health arena for 50, 60 years, doing it when it wasn't so cool and sexy, okay? These were the early adapters of the vegetarian and the vegan lifestyle. These are men and women that you're going to meet that have really done their research, their homework. And so some of the products that we're adding to the company are just really designed to enhance our overall experience. And some of the testimonials that you're going to witness on some of these products are so just amazing. I mean, it's unbelievable almost. When I listened and witnessed and had a chance to research some of these products, in fact, one of them during the session everyone's going to have to sign a little piece of information where we're not going to disclose, okay? You're not going to be able to disclose our video camera. And the reason why this product has been used in hospital wards. This product has been used in places where people were literally stage 4 different issues, right? So you're going to learn about this product, but guess what? We know that when you share information that's this good, it's often up to where people don't want you to share that, right? And so we're going to have to understand that we're bringing this information. We're going to give you access, right? But we've got to be responsible with this information because we want to make sure that we're able to keep products like this around and continue to let them do what it does. I mean, just think about what you've already been blessed with, okay, with the Flat Belly Lifestyle, with the 21-day raw cleanse, the 7-day raw cleanse. And so these are some supplements in between those cleanses that can really just help, raise the frequency of those organs, really help ensure that our cells stay at their healthiest levels, guys, because as Dr. Prince says, let's make it right to 120. Let's create this 120 club, okay? Where literally we are committed to doing our part, right? We can only do our part. The rest we leave to God, guys. But guess what? There's a part that we can do because faith without works, right, doesn't work, okay? So we've got to have faith, but we've also got to do our work. We've got to do our part, and we've got to recognize that so many people are being brought into our lives, and they're being brought for a reason. If we just ignore this information and if we keep living the same lifestyle, guess what? That's your fault now, right? So there's certain things we've got to do, whether it's get up and get physical, because we can't expect to live that kind of life if we're not moving our body, right? If we're not doing the maintenance in between those cleanses, right? If we just keep going off track. So we've got to do our part. We've got to make sure we do the work. And guess what? We can see so many lives being changed. And speaking of lives being changed, guys, I got to take it back to just seeing what's happening in the business right now. I'm just witnessing some of the teams that are really just showing up and showing out. As I look at our Boston team, Blessed Branches, I mean, they are on the move, okay? I'm like, wow, this is March. We know it's March Madness. We know it's one of the biggest times, okay, in the network marketing space. But we also know we're about to give birth to the new company. And some people are in the wait and see mode, right? They're waiting for the launch, anticipating the new PowerPoint. But some teams are moving right now. And I'm watching y'all because I can see what you're doing. I see what's happening in the back office, guys. Phenomenal job. I know this weekend, Team Indiana is in full effect. I know Sylvia and Phyllis are going to be there with Dr. Prince. So I know that's going to be amazing. Make sure you check Facebook. You get all the details so that you can perhaps drive to that event, right? You can participate right here from Chicago, by driving over to Indianapolis. Not a far drive at all, but a real great event to support. It's always great when we see our leadership on the move. I'm also seeing other teams on the move. I'm looking at Dr. Roz doing these virtual events every day and grand openings for all of her team. I mean, that's how you lead, guys. I'm looking at what's going on also, too, with Team Contagious. Oh, my goodness. They're doing parties all weekend at our home office on Saturday night. Had another one on Sunday night, guys. They were doing it again the weekend before, guys. See, that's how you move right now. I mean, there's going to be some exciting announcements at our 420 conference. And for the teams that are right now working the business, it's going to work to your advantage, guys. So you want to make sure you are working the business right here, right now, okay? As we witness what's happening, guys, we're going to bring another event back to Chicago before conference, guys, because we got to keep it moving. So most likely around the 9th or 8th. Stay tuned for something happening that weekend, guys. Always on Wednesdays, make sure you're packing that out. I always have a fun time being there Wednesday. A lot of the leaders are really starting to plug in, utilize that event as a strategy, guys. That's a strategy for building your business. So you should be at our scan events every single Wednesday. We need to be packing that place out wall to wall, okay? And then guess what, guys? We go into our conference. Then we're going to Dallas. So, yes, we're going to be there with Gigi and her team showing up and showing out. I know they're going to bring it, okay? Diamond Gigi Harris in the house. And then guess what? Atlanta. I've actually finally have a reason to have to be in Atlanta. So I'm going to host an event, even if I have to host a home party at my cousin's house. Okay. So I'm going to be in Atlanta the weekend of Memorial Day. I'm going to be there for a graduation for one of my cousins. So I'm going to be in Atlanta. So if anyone else, we might do something big, we'll let you know, but it's going to be Memorial Day weekend, guys. And so with that being said, now that you know what's happening all across the country here with Wakanna, we want to invite you also to jump on right now. Rebound with Wakanna. Let's get our bodies moving. I love waking up and I get on my rebound, guys. My rebound's right in my living room when I wake up in the morning before I even go get my coffee. Okay, I drink my water. If I'm drinking juice, I'm drinking my juice. And guess what I do? I rebound, guys. I rebound every morning. It's critical for you to get that oxygen flowing, the lymphatic system moving. So get on Rebound with Wakanna with Dr. DJ Roz every single day, Monday through Saturday. Save our strands. That's happening at 2:30 p.m. Central. Our corporate Zoom will happen tonight, and that's at 7:30 p.m. Central. We start with the party first. An 8 o'clock presentation. Then, of course, tomorrow we invite you to wake up to the Diamond Factory. And so with that being said, I want to thank each and every one of you for waking up to Wakanna. I want to invite you to go out and plug into all the amazing events today. And with that said, we want you to have a Wakanna day because we're going to see you at the top, the very top, the tip top.